Today we're continuing to read the Brothers Karamazov, a most unworthy play upon words for an ecclesiastic. Father Pacey could not refrain from breaking in again. "I've read the book which you have answered," he added, addressing Ivan, and was astounded at the words, "The church is a kingdom not of this world. If it is not of this world, then it cannot exist on earth at all." In the Gospel, the words "not of this world" are not used in that sense. To play with such words is indefensible. Our Lord Jesus Christ came to set up the church upon earth. The kingdom of heaven, of course, is not of this world, but in heaven. But it is only entered through the church, which has been founded and established upon earth. And so a frivolous play upon words in such a connection is unpardonable and improper. The church is, in truth, a kingdom and ordained to rule, and in the end must undoubtedly become the kingdom ruling over all the earth. For that we have the divine promise. He ceased speaking suddenly, as though checking himself. After listening attentively and respectfully, Ivan went on, addressing the elder with perfect composure, and as before with ready cordiality. The whole point of my article lies in the fact that during the first 3 centuries, Christianity only existed on earth in the church, and was nothing but the church. When the pagan Roman Empire desired to become Christian, it inevitably happened that, by becoming Christian, it included the church, but remained a pagan state in very many of its departments. In reality, this was bound to happen. But Rome, as a state, retained too much of the pagan civilization and culture, as, for example, in the very objects and fundamental principles of the state. The Christian church entering into the state could, of course, surrender no part of its fundamental principles, the rock on which it stands, and could pursue no other aims than those which have been ordained and revealed by God himself, and among them that of drawing the whole world, and therefore the ancient pagan state itself, into the church. In that way, that is, with a view to the future. It is not the church that should seek a definite position in the state, like every social organization, or as an organization of men for religious purposes, as my opponent calls the church. But on the contrary, every earthly state should be, in the end, completely transformed into the church, and should become nothing else but a church, rejecting every purpose incongruous with the aims of the church. All this will not degrade it in any way, or take from its honor and glory as a great state, nor from the glory of its rulers, but only turns it from a false, still pagan, and mistaken path to the true and rightful path, which alone leads to the eternal goal. This is why the author of the book on the foundations of church jurisdiction would have judged correctly if, in seeking and laying down those foundations, he had looked upon them as a temporary compromise, inevitable in our sinful and imperfect days. But as soon as the author ventures to declare that the foundations which he predicates now, part of which Father Iosif just enumerated, are the permanent, essential, and eternal foundations, he is going directly against the church and its sacred and eternal vocation. That is the gist of my article. That is, in brief, Father Pacey began again, laying stress on each word, according to certain theories only too clearly formulated in the 19th century. The church ought to be transformed into the state, as though this would be an advance from a lower to a higher form, so as to disappear into it, making way for science, for the spirit of the age and civilization. And if the church resists and is unwilling, some corner will be set apart for her in the state, and even that under control. and this will be so everywhere in all modern European countries. But Russian hopes and conceptions demand not that the church should pass as from a lower into a higher type into the state, but on the contrary, that the state should end by being worthy to become only the church and nothing else. So be it, so be it. And that's the end of the reading for today. Have a good day.